So I will jump right into it. Okay. So this piece is called She Is Me. I owe her too many things to list: confidence, class, elegance, style, resilience, creativity, passions, endurance, wisdom, humility, just to name a few. She taught me to walk, hold my head up high, put my shoulders back, to make castles out of crumbs, to push even when I felt like giving up. I am a queen because I was raised by a queen. I am me because of her. And if life doesn't spoil me any more than it already did, I will still be wealthy because of the things she gave me. I cannot put into words how much I love you, how much I cherish you, and how grateful I am for you. You love me even when I didn't love myself. At times I felt ugly, but you saw my beauty and you stood by me until I could see myself. I owe you nothing, but yet I owe you everything. You saw the light in the moment of darkness. You let me live, you let me learn, you let me stumble, you let me experience. I can't say it was easy, but it was all worth it, and I owe it all to you. I didn't appreciate you or show you value. I let men defile you and abuse you. I talked down to you and mistreated you, yet you didn't let me down. You are powerful, you are strong, you are mighty. You have the power to heal, you have the power to transform. You are mysterious, you are creative. Shit, you birth nations. That alone makes you mighty. Speak affirmations. That yoni is gold. The love and care I have for her now gives me chills throughout my body because her voice and her presence will move mountains. She will transform and transcend for generations to come. Thank you for standing with me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for seeing me. But most of all, thank you for being me. That's all.
Yeah. Period. Period. Period.
I think I think it's safe to say that we could just cut the event short. Call it a night. That I don't know. I don't know before.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much for that, Derby.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the nation she birthed is in my hand right now, so I'm grateful for that, Yoni. I'm gonna move us on. Next up, we have my dear sister. Bro, I don't know where I'd be without you. Like, you really saved me my senior year, bro, and I love you so much. Up next, y'all, we have the love dealer herself, Ashley Renee Merchant.
Woo! What's going on? I'm thankful to be here. I'm thankful that I have some friends that are here performing, but also friends that are here watching. And I'm thankful to all of you. Sabine, thank you for being you. You know, that girl from the couch. You know, that girl from the couch. And I can just jump right in. So my art is a little bit different. My art, the way I express myself and the way I do things is sort of my art. So basically, we're going to talk about love dealing. So basically, first and foremost, everything I do, everything I do comes from my third culture upbringing. And what that is, it's a theory that was coined by Ruth Useem. And basically what that means is my parents were not born here in America. My parents are Jamaican. They immigrated to America and they met each other. And while they were here, they learned a lot about themselves, but then they met each other and had 2 great kids. And while they were learning a lot about American culture, they were also teaching us a lot about American culture and Jamaican culture. So basically, I'm this lovely hybrid of cultures where the culture I am taught, of course, my cat wants to make sure that, you know, there's nothing that I do without him. But it's basically it's this wonderful marriage of all of these cultures that come into these wonderful people. So Sabine is a third culture kid, I know that. And there's a lot of us out there. And so with that comes the Jamaican way. And if you know anything about Jamaica, you know we show love through food and we show love through music. And so we always talk about the Irie way and things of that nature. And that is something that I think stuck with me. And a lot of that was instilled in me by amazing grandmothers that I had. Shout out to Louise Henrietta Flowers, may she continue to bless over me, and Myrtle Taylor. But one of the things that they really instilled in me was making sure that I show people love, and making sure that, if you've been around me, you know that I'm cooking for you. If you come around us, Black people love. You ain't never met a Caribbean or a Black person that knows how to cook for one person, because it's our ancestors told us that we need to love each other through food. And what we do with food, not too many other people can do. And that's the same thing holds true to Black Americans. They can do some magical stuff with the parts of the pig that don't even go in sausage. All right. So, we are powerful people. And right now, we can't get to touch each other. We can't get to feed each other. You understand? And so what I do is something that my godmothers and my aunts taught me very young. And it's communicating through cards and sending energy through cards. So that came when COVID hit. My mom and my dad both are medical professionals. When COVID hit, I felt heavy. And I know that we all felt heavy. But I used those skills that my cat is literally, you don't want me to shine at all. I use those skills that I was instilled with to bring love to people. So love dealing, it's the importance of touching people without actually touching people. We all would love to give each other a hug, but we can't. So love dealing comes in the way. So basically what I do is I put energy in cards. I go out and I go and pick specific cards for specific people. And I let anybody know. You don't have to be a family member. You don't even have to be a super, super close friend. But what you can do is send me your address and I'm going to send you some love. So within that, you never send a card with malice. If you're not ready to send it, don't send it. You put the address on the outside of the card. You start whatever you want to do. But listen, you don't send it. Because anything that we do with our mouth, our words, are literally powerful. You just heard Derby speak and you were all moved. And anything we do with our words, it's almost like you're making promises to yourself. So you want to move with positivity and energy. And so on every card that I do, I send energy. So some of my friends, they've received catnip in their cards because they have cats. And my cats want to share the wealth. They like to share the good herb. They're true Jamaicans, all right? So they like to send out cards, but at the same time, I'll send you a coloring page or anything like that. But make sure no letter is ever sent with malice. And my big thing is, just like Pop Smoke said, rest in peace to Pop Smoke, send the Addy, we gon' slide. So you send the Addy, I'm gonna send you some cards. And if you're friends with Sabine, you've seen, and some people in this chat, you've seen that in their stories of the past week, they may have gotten some love dealing in their mailboxes. And it's sort of the best way to keep telling people that we're there and that we care. I don't necessarily have to touch you, but I care so much about you. And my words are between me and you. However, one of the things that I want to say is kids are our future. And it's the best way to start kids, starting how to read and how to communicate. So if you have kids in your lives, send them little simple words. But if you have other people in lives that you want to tell them how you feel and what they mean to you, let's get on it right now, because there's no time like the present. Most definitely shout out to my family who taught me the importance of writing letters and communicating, because when our text messages are gone, our letters will still be there. And those are the things that hold us true to our ancestors. Some of us get to actually read letters our ancestors shared. And so one thing that I want you all to take with you today is through therapy, and I talked to my therapist and all that, make sure we work on ourselves, but our family doesn't have to be blood. They are the people who love us the most. And so, like Sabine said, we just ended up landing on each other, and I was lucky enough to be a part of her family. And so I would love to challenge all of you to at least send out 2 cards. Get an address from one person you've talked to all the time and one person you don't talk to all the time. Send those cards out, and you'll be surprised as to how far your love can go. That's it.
Wants to be my pen pal.
I'm down.
I love it.
Just send me your address. I'm so serious. I have cards that have gone. I got some cards going to Puerto Rico soon. I have cards that gone to Rhode Island, to Miami. I have cards ready to go out. Just send an address to me, and I will send you love. I don't have to know you, but I know that you possess power.
That's beautiful, actually.
Send me your address. I'll send you a card too.
Yes.
You should have her address.
But I want it to come from her.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, no, actually, I really love that. And for those of you who have me on Instagram recently, I made a Instagram story about like wanting to send out cards, and I got it from Ashley. And I think that I really love the way that you put that, Ashley. It's like we don't have to be family in order to care for each other, right? You know, and like everyone deserves that little bit of love. So I'm here for that. I'm with it. Thank you, Ash. Woo, that was I'm loving tonight so much. Wow already. Up next we have the spoken wordsman himself. I recently met Nelson, and like his words were they just blew me away. I ain't gonna hold you. We planned a vigil together, and I'm so grateful for him to have met him and to have like heard him speak. I'm so grateful that he said yes to being a part of this. So for Nelson, my dog, you are up next.
Hey everyone. Before I start, I just kind of want to talk about the piece, but even before I do that, I want to send a shout out to Derby. There was one line that really like hit me. It was when she said something about turning crumbs into castles. Yo, that just hit me right in the chest when you said that. And I feel like it's such a true thing. And I just felt it in my chest when you said that. I just want to shout out that one line. It really hit me. So this piece, it's a little different from when I usually perform, because I'm usually, like, just white supremacy, 12, all that. And this piece is a little more about kind of youthfulness and joy in a way, and community that the community that we make as Black people. And yeah, it's not that long, but I just wrote it in a time where I felt like I needed to kind of reminisce and reflect on how even in times of like distress, duress, we can still together. So yeah, it kind of takes us back though. Well, I'm a young person, so it doesn't take us that far back. I feel like, yeah, I'm not that. So I'll go. So the air was wavy and the girls were dressing less and tops dropped and schedules cleared. I didn't have a phone, but it did knew where to be and who I'd see. And nobody wheels was walking for me like skinny jeans. Miggs, Jay, Ben, Kenny, Steve, Ralph, Sam, Doobie, and sometimes Foss. We dapped up in a flurry of clap, grotesque finger locks, and balled up. We became mixed martial artists with the fat of a glove, I remember. The water was just fine, and the guys were admiring their workouts paying off as the bad kids went back to school. We only pushed in the girls we liked. A few of us had the fortune of being pushed back. We left the pool dripping and ashy. Later, street lights turned on as angry mothers hollered and we prepared for the night. There was a stain on my shirt, but it didn't matter. The room would be dark. We couldn't go unless there were girls there. There were girls there. We gave each other pep talks and played it cool with sweaty palms and cotton mouth. We were greeted warmly with the smell of Axe body spray and Victoria's perfume. We danced, body rolling and winding our waists in the basement until we realized there would be more tomorrow. 24 hours later, we repeated. I remember. We made circles around those that had beef, shouting commands as if we knew any better. When the sun melted the fun away, we endured boredom. We wondered who would lose it first. We roasted each other. And when there were times we didn't want to remember, we would help each other forget. Thank you. Yeah, I could talk about it.
I loved it.
Y'all want me to process. So yeah, I just wrote that because I feel like times like now we're so caught up in, just like fighting back that we might forget to, cherish like memories of joy and youth. And I just wanted to write a piece about like how when I was younger, I remember like not, because I feel like as black people, we have to grow up so fast. So I wanted to write a piece about like just even how as kids we know how to build that sense of community, and pretty much just have joy. I feel like I have to reteach myself now as a young adult how to, you know, be joyous in the things I do, because a lot of what I do now is just like trying to dismantle this and trying to, you know, facilitate this dialogue on that. But I have to teach myself to kind of feel joy. And spaces like this, it's so easy. So I'm thankful that Sabine hit me up and happy to be a part of this. So thank you for being part of my joy. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you for saying yes for Nelson.
That was beautiful.
I'm so happy right now. Wow. Okay, bet. I did want to quickly introduce y'all to my niece. Her name is Ivory Noel. Say hi, baby.
She's so beautiful. Oh my god.
No, because she a whole being too. She whole too. Wanted to make sure to introduce her to y'all.
She said, "Make them say hi to me."
Right. And that fit is fire, bro.
Her grandmama did.
Girl, I was about to say, give her that damn earring. She gonna take.
I was gonna say like her.
Right, she's gonna take that damn earring.
Took it.
She already got the other one too.
Right. She said these are mine.
Both. She needs
She's
both.
the queen.
Are you?
Yo, I love the fact that she's mad chill right now. Though.
Right. She's like, oh, you doing something? Okay.
She heard y'all too. She gave the side eye too.
She
I know,
cute as hell.
Right. The side I be, she's like, who's this?
Such a cutie.
All right, bet. All right, let's get back. Thank you for Nelson. Up next, we have another spokeswordsman himself, my dog Ed. Ed and I go to UMass together. We're in separate master's programs. But the second I found out that he was Haitian, I was like, weird, automatically. And so like building that community, because like it's very Black people at UMass is almost non-existent, especially within like master's programs. So up next we have my dog Ed.
Thank you. Yeah, you're right. I am so blessed to be here. Just because, you know, finding Black artists in Western Mass, as you said, is not that easy. So I'm really glad that we're able to do this. So thank you. But yeah, I just have a couple quick poems. Yeah, and I guess what I would say, this poem actually comes in 3 parts. And I think a lot of it, you know, given the past few weeks, I should say, you know, between COVID and between all the protests, I think that's where my head has been at. So it's been interesting to think about Black joy through what we've witnessed and what we're trying to do to create change. So yeah, this led to a 3-part poem. So hopefully y'all enjoy. But yeah, this entire series is called A Road Across the Wilderness. Part 1, Birthday Girl's Gift on May 25th. She puckers her lips until the flames waste away and presents align on tables. Her uncle turns the knob clockwise. Each smartphone faces the deck to watch his new salsa moves on display. His audience claps like a gospel choir as he glides across the lawn. Each foot steps onto torn gift wrapping paper. Yet your thumb scrolls past pics of her father's body pressed against the asphalt, begging for air. She shows you her new card game and asks if you want to play. What are you gonna say? So that's the end of part 1. That one was interesting because originally the uncle in this poem was actually a Haitian uncle, because that happened to me a lot when I go to birthday parties as a kid. the uncle would just want the spotlight, but that didn't flow well with this poem, so I took that out. All right. Part 2, Black Blues. You take a whiff of white roses. After a whiff of white roses, a petal falls beneath people's noses. You like how that trumpet sounds. Yeah, you like how that trumpet sounds. That horn blares its tune to make crowds dance around. But the trumpet rings like a bell for the pearly gates. Lord, that trumpet's gonna ring like a bell to open the pearly gates, 'cause he's no longer awake. We bow our heads and pray. We wait and pray. Yet the preacher got no words, just rain from his eyes to water the grave. Now we drive away. We gotta drive away. There's another protest today. All right. Cool. So this is part 3. Black joy loves to lead. A fog of pepper spray trapped black folk inside like a gas chamber. One officer's baton swings and cracks a black head while a sergeant's knee snaps a black spine. The sign you waved to make Black Lives Matter torn in half because a white cop says it's the wrong flag. Yet you march past the wreckage for me. Y'all clap your hands like birds who flap wings to find fresh water. I'm a flowing river to wet your dry tongue if you fly for a little longer. If y'all sing louder than the megaphone and threat blankets of rubber bullets and zip ties. The flock can't change course when they find me. Because once they do, they ain't gonna let nobody turn them around. Thank you.
After Leo, we're gonna have my boy since 7th grade, CJ Parvales. Come on, baby.
Yo. So, a little bit of backstory. First of all, I just want to thank Sabine for allowing me to be part of this space. Doing a great job, and I'm just love hearing how well this is going for you. So I definitely thank you for reaching out to me and allowing me to be part of it. So a little backstory about this piece that I wrote. Like, so Sabine knows. Like, I think her sisters know too. Maybe like back in the day, like I used to write these little songs, and I used to write little poetry. It was like kind of corny, but like I was young, right? So it was like we just writing some stuff. But I've always had an ear for poetry and music. And when she asked me if I was going to either read or like find a piece or write a piece, I was like, I'll write one, right? Tap into like my inner poet real quick just to see if I could come up, cook something up. So I kind of took the title of this whole webinar series and kind of wrote this piece around it. And because I just needed a foundation, and I felt like that was appropriate just because of everything going on. So it was just appropriate. Here we go. It is. The title of this poem is called My Blackness Is. All right. Okay, cool. So we live in a world that's ever changing. With each year, an event worth remembering. We live in a society constantly dictating. It's 2020. What is happening? My blackness is unique to who I am and those I represent. It's bigger than I. It's bigger than you. Notify the president. My blackness is not a threat, rather a symbol of freedom, a product of history, a token of appreciation. My blackness is beautiful. We make good great. We make ordinary extraordinary. We are a culture, a movement, a divine revelation. Without us, where would the world be? My blackness is powerful. We are the room shakers. We are the neck breakers. We are what we say we are. We are the X factor. My blackness is special. So that's it. That's all I got for y'all tonight. So again, I appreciate y'all.
Period. Daddy. Period.
Period, love. How you doing?
Period. Okay.
How you doing?
I remember, so a little backstory, right? I remember Sabine called me like, "Hey, where's your piece?" And I'm like, I didn't really write it yet, right? So then I literally took a whole day to focus in, right? To really just find my zone and really, write this, because like I was getting distracted by a lot of things that's going on in my life, and I had to really take at least, it literally took me a whole day to like focus in on writing something, worth presenting, right? And then, in about an hour, I finally got in the zone and wrote this. So, and I was gonna read it to her the same day, but then she was busy, so then we ended up not doing it. So, I was actually very nervous about presenting it because I haven't really wrote a poem in like years. So I appreciate you guys.
I'm really glad that that you tapped into the bag again and decided to come through, even though you didn't speak on it. I'm really grateful that you did it. So we have our girl Leah is back. So we have Leah, who is about to hit us with a little bit of violin for tonight, yo. A little bit of violin. Here we go. Leah, you ready?
And the violin, which you can't see. Me and my violin here. Just real quick, I wanted to say I've been playing violin since I was 3. And it's like a huge part of me. It's like an extension of my arm, if you know me. And I'm really proud that I have this as a skill, because I don't know and how many of y'all have been told this, but have you ever been told that something you do or the way you talk is like too white? You know what I mean? The violin is one of those instruments that people go, it's too white for someone like me to play. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not correct, because here I am, black as hell, about to lay it down. And I also wanted to say one more thing, a huge shout out to Sabine for creating this this space, because I've been bombarded with all of this stuff happening outside of where I am, and here where I am, and just all this news, this constant stream of media and anti-Black propaganda you see all over the place, all this death, all this hate. It's easy to lose sight of what matters, But art is key to me as a person, and I lost sight of that for a good maybe month and a half after the semester ended. And it's like I feel a whole lot better, when I play an instrument, when I write poetry, when I listen, when I consume and produce Black art. So I just wanted to say thank you for providing the space and reminding me of what matters. I matter, and my art matters, and we matter, and Black Lives Matter, of course. Sorry. All right, let me get to it. You may or may not know the song. You know the song. It's the Black Lives Matter anthem. All right, let's get into it. Yeah, get into it. Okay, I'm sorry.
Book her.
Book our friend, y'all.
Book our
I
artist.
might marry myself so I can book her.
Playback artist. Hey, not play. Okay.
Thank you so much, Leah. That was so beautiful. I'm so happy that you reached out to me, yo. I'm really happy that you did, and thank you for what you said and for being here in your piece. And tonight, our last performer.
Wait, can I say something? Can I say something? My mama's here.
Margaret! Margaret!
Not Margaret.
That's my mommy.
Oh my gosh, yes. All right, word. Angela, you're up, my love.
Basically, I did a whole like self-affirmation poem type piece. I'll explain it afterwards. I just kind of want to say it and then let it sit. Okay? Okay. So the piece is called Iridescent. Okay? My blackness is iridescent. A different layer blooms as I experience a new chapter in life. Whether torn, hurt, scorned, betrayed, my blackness is iridescent. My soul will gleam like a diamond lit up by the purest sunshine. My voice shall carry over nations, revealing my ancestors' dreams, to be free, to love, and to laugh with no bounds. My blackness carries friends' laughter, new hopes, loves, quarrels, inside jokes, visions of love, a fight for fairness, a revolution. My blackness is proudly malleable, bound to no chains or criticisms, constantly shifting. My blackness is queer, Ugandan, performance-loving, author enthusiastic, athletic, outdoorsy, beach-going, ambitious, world-traveling. My hue is not made of likes or compliments or societal standards. Rather, I am filled with the guidance and love of 2 generations of East African women. And as I go on in this life, I hope to add more enriching experiences as the iridescence of my blackness grows. Thank you. Okay, that's what it was. That's what it was. And so basically for the term itself, wait, let me see if I can find it. Okay, iridescent, the actual thing, is showing luminous colors that seem to change when seen from different angles. And so I use the definition as like a metaphor for my blackness and how as I live and grow, that there's going to be different stages and that's going to be like ever evolving. So yeah, that's what my inspiration was.
Thank you. Wow. It should be like in the top right corner. Word. Wow. Thank you all so much for your beautiful pieces. And we're about to get into like my favorite portion of the evening, which is the dialogue. I am a dialoguer at heart. And this is exactly why I wanted to hold the space, so that we can have space to hear each other's voices and really engage in these critical, necessary conversations. So I want to say thank you all again. And just so we can get started on this, the first question that I have for us is, what did it feel like to be in this space and presenting your pieces?
Okay. I just don't want to go over. It felt very safe and I was so excited because I was like, there's going to be different forms of art and everything. And so I just was so thankful that I was able to experience and also like engage in it. And that it was like art and like there's a versatility in that that's not necessarily shown because there's not necessarily a space for it. So I was thankful for that.
I definitely would say that with having so many like different groups of influences, I think this was like the first time I've ever been around a space with artists, right? Like people who are able to express themselves in different ways that's true and authentic to themselves, right? Like I never heard Derby spit a poem before. Like I didn't even know she had that in her, right? The love of Dr. Ashley, I didn't know that was her thing either. So like seeing that is dope. Just seeing like it's easy to judge people based on like, you know, what comes out of their mouth, but then you don't, when you get to a space like this, you really see like the way they think through the way they express themselves, which is dope. And like when I first seen y'all, I'm like, oh, I wonder what she's gonna do, what he's gonna do. And then you know, when you guys started spitting your pieces, I was like, oh, you guys are deep, right? And so it's dope to really see that. So that's the first time in a long time I've been in a space like this. I think Leah want to say something.
No.
Amen.
The question that I asked is, what did it feel like to present your pieces in this space right now?
It felt good. I love being able to present, but I also love being able to present the concept and the idea, because that's the main part of what I do. Is I want to be able to touch as many people. So if I send out 20 cards, and every person that I send out a card to sends out 2 more cards, the spread of that is the love, and the sharing of that is what's important to me. So I'm very happy that I was able to and basically, you know, a lot of the people that performed tonight are like my family. So it's very comfortable to bring my culture to my people, if you will. And that felt great.
Anyone else?
All right. I was talking about this with my sister earlier, and I think I was really excited about tonight because I received all your pieces beforehand, and I think that y'all were like really like touching upon like the theme itself, which was like Ashley, especially you talking about love. Everyone talking about love, really. For Nelson, you bringing in your piece about like your boys and remembering and reminding yourself that, you know, like you need joy, right? Thanks, Mama. And so I guess like my first question that I have, another question that I have for y'all right now is, what's the role of love and joy in the fight for liberation?
Say that one more time. Can you say it one more time?
What role does love and joy play in the fight for liberation? Because I think about there's 2 ways of thinking, right? There's liberation from these oppressive structures, liberation from white supremacy, these dominant norms, right? And then there's liberation to be free, to be yourself, to live freely, to embody joy, to embody love, to embody all of these different things that are very much stripped from us, right? Or that when we access them, it's always in resistance to something, or very often in resistance to something. So I'm asking, like, what do y'all think is the role of joy and love in the fight for liberation and in our lives right now as Black folks?
I think the baby should answer that. I see that she's ready to go. I think that she should. I think you should give her a platform and stop silencing her.
Go on.
I think I can speak to it a little bit, even involving Ivory, is that love, we show it and we share it, and we talk about wanting to make changes. Am I muted? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
We talk about wanting to make changes and wanting to be the force for change. And I think love, if we share it and show it, our future generations, such as Ivory, will be able to pass that on. And I think when we talk about love can get us through anything, it's also important that we let people know when we need love. And that's one of the things that I think more Black people need to start focusing on, is actually being honest with themselves, because the only way that we can be powerful is to know what power we possess. And that's why I call myself the love dealer, because I know I possess a lot of power in the way that I articulate myself and care about people. But love, if we can get power from love, we're unstoppable.
And I just want to build upon what she's saying, like, because I believe that, first of all, loving, to spread love and to love is a choice, right? So once we make the decision to actually, love ourselves and love those around us, I think that brings about a sense of hope, right? And when you have light, when you present light in the space of darkness, then you can get some hope to free yourself from the oppression, free yourself from everything that you're holding in, because you know that somebody loves you and somebody like sees you, because if you're loved, then you're being seen. And sometimes a lot of people, all they want to do is be seen, right?
Yeah.
So if we can choose to love, and that's why I think, Ashley being a love doctor I love that, right? Because she made a decision to spread light and to be a light to all those around her. And for the right person, they will take that, and that can transform somebody from being quote unquote an introvert and really get them to express themselves in which they want to express themselves, because you're only an introvert if you say you are, right? But sometimes people are introverted because they don't feel like they're being seen, so they gotta stay to themselves. So if they feel like somebody is seeing them and they're loved by somebody, then their true self will come out, and that's when you can do so much once you gain that confidence in yourself.
I'm going to take it like a step back and bring it back to, I think that before you receive that love from others, that love or that work needs to be that self-love, right?
Yes.
Because that care and um, that that um, that passion that you have to put in has to be the self-love. That's the first thing you have to go to. And I try to instill this in the people around me. I'm all about self-care. If ever anybody knows me, I'm all about the self-care. I'm all about that beauty from within. And I want to raise my daughter in that light as well. It's like that love has to start from within. Once you have that love and once you have that light, then it's easy to pick that up from others. Then it's easy to receive that from other people. And I think that the fight for liberation or that acceptance of your Blackness starts with that love. I think that for you to stand and fight, you have to accept your Blackness, you have to love your Blackness, and then you're representing that Blackness. And I think that as a young Black girl, what I went through accepting my Blackness was hard for me at first. And I think that's why I fell into the traps of white supremacy wanted me to fall into, and finding that I needed to be a certain way or act a certain way to be accepted. And in reality, I was the shit. Oh, sorry, my bad. But
talk your girl, talk your ish.
That was dope. You know what I mean? Like this Blackness was it.
Speak the truth.
It was that love that needed to be there. You know what I mean? But go on, somebody else. Sorry.
And yeah, I just wanted to jump off your point, Derby, because I feel like, and CJ's point, talking about the connection between love and hope. I mean, that really fuels like a vision for what we want liberation to look like, and historically, that's what's gotten us to this point is, Black people really getting together as a community, and with that love, working together, keep each other accountable, all come together, reminding each other that there's a vision that we're trying to reach towards. I don't know if y'all know Bettina Love, but she talks about this in one of her books and talking about freedom dreaming, and I feel like the idea of love is fuel for that, freedom dreaming. So.
Also, if any of the attendees or audience members has any questions, please ask in the Q&A portion, because it's going to be hard to kind of find you in the chat. So please feel free to ask some questions. We might not get to it, but feel free.
Yeah, I kind of want to add to that too.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, with the idea of love, I was actually talking to Lorna about this not so long ago, and Lorna, we were talking about bell hooks, and bell hooks talks about how love is like a very, very conscious choice. And we were just talking about how when you invest into someone's spiritual well-being, you're choosing to love them, right? So whenever you love someone, you're making a choice. And I think we can kind of tell the difference when somebody's doing something out of like, the want for clout or like for attention, when they're genuinely doing out of love. Because I feel like, especially now in the age of social media, I hate to be that guy to bring up social media, but now some people feel pressured. Honestly, people feel pressured to, share bail funds or share informational or informative posts And I feel like you can tell who those people are and versus the people who are doing things and spreading awareness out of love, out of love for themselves and out of love for the Black community. And I, to answer the question, I feel like love plays a huge part in the fight for liberation, in oneself, obviously, but in helping others find or fight their fight and for liberation too. Because I don't know, I feel like it's so easy to tell when someone's just doing something out of love, because I can feel it, right? Sometimes there's a disconnect when some people claim they're doing something out of love when they're really doing it either for like duty or clout now, which is a weird thing. That's a thing, sadly. So yeah, I feel like it plays a huge part.
Woo, yes, y'all touched upon so much. Like Ashley, I too am a love dealer, and I thank you for bringing up bell hooks for Nelson, and shout out to Lorna. Like, y'all, again, a plug. Follow the Black Feminist Book Collective, because my sis out here trying to liberate y'all. Like, for real. I'm not even playing. But I think the idea of love being a verb, of being an action, being a choice, right? And when you are choosing to love, that says something, right? That for me, that is presence, right? And CJ, you touched upon the idea, the fact that sometimes people just want to be seen, right? So often we don't feel seen in our society because we're inundated with all these different things. And the thing is, what I see very often is that people see an idea of you rather than seeing you as the person that's physically in front of them, right? So they'll bring in these assumptions that they have of you. They'll bring in these judgments that they've placed on you. They'll bring in like something that you did 2 years ago into the present moment with you, right? It's like when you love someone, right? When you choose to love someone, you are choosing to see that person, right? You're choosing to recognize that who you were back then is not necessarily the person that you are today, right? It's not who you are right now, right? And that for me, that I think of presence when I hear that. I think of radical presence and choosing to recognize how by bringing that past into this present moment with this person, you're dehumanizing them. Because you're not showing them grace, you're not showing them that care, you're not showing them that love that you claim to say that you are actually doing. So I think I love that all y'all touched upon that, and I think that's super important and super valuable. And Derby, you brought in self-love, and I think self-love is critical in this fight. And my mentor often says that the 60s was a dress rehearsal, right? Because it was like global love, there was like love all people, but like there was a lack of that self-love. And I think that self-love is what our generation today, and especially in this fight, we are recognizing the importance of that, right? Because that's what sustains us. Because if we don't have that self-love, how do we can't pour from an empty cup, right? So it's like, what are we doing actively to show ourselves that care, to show ourselves that grace? And with that, I want to ask all of y'all, what does self-love look like to y'all? And how do you practice that, right? What does the practice of self-love look like for you? Spit some gems for our attendees, bro.
I got you. I'm ready.
Period.
Ready. Self-love is about boundaries. Self-love is about understanding what you need over others. And it's not I'm not saying it's selfish, but the thing is that, just like Sabine said, if you have an empty cup, how are you going to pour? And the thing is that because I know the impact of when I love myself, I know how much better of a person I am for those around me. Mm-hmm. So I can't give my niece or my nephew, I can't give them anything if I don't love myself. Because I also, with my love, I want to teach those around me to be proud of who they are. Because love, once you start to love yourself, you start to just want to, install some great. When I started to love myself, for instance, when I met Sabine, I was really coming into me, and I really started to love myself. And from me loving myself, I was like, yo, I got filet mignon, let's cook it. On a Thursday, just because you want to start to put that in other people, to love themselves even more, because I think, and this is the thing that my last bit is that a lot of us have generational, issues that come with self-love, because we weren't necessarily taught how to love ourselves. And a lot of our parents, they tried, but they were also taught that they weren't valued. They didn't deserve love. So self-love, when we start with ourselves, is the only way that those around us can really, really grow.
Yeah, to piggyback off of Ashley, um, Ashley said generational issues. It's literally breaking those generational curses. Break them. That is self love. Self love is saying no. It is okay. Say no. It is okay. You
No is
need to
a
say no.
complete sentence. No is a complete sentence.
No. And it's all right. Self love is giving yourself that time. Self love is speaking up. Something's bothering you, get it off of your chest. Don't let it sit there. Self love is going to therapy,
Yes.
especially for us Black people. Go to therapy. Like, those are all of those, like, self love is taking time out for yourself. Take a long shower, giving yourself that care. That's all the love that you need. Take a nice bath, listen to the music that you want to listen to, go on the drive that you want to go on. Spend that money that you want to spend, get yourself something that you want. All of that comes into loving yourself. All of those things play into part of loving yourself, because at the end of the day, you need it. You can't care for those around you without it. You can't do anything without it. You have to give yourself that time. You have to give yourself those things. Self-love is putting up those boundaries, like Ashley said, whether it's your parents, whether it's your relationship, no matter what it is. You need to talk. And that's love. You need to put yourself first. Those are all the things that fall into self-love.
Yeah.
I think for
Ed,
I don't know, my bad. I was just gonna say, when I think of self-love, I usually think of understanding your past and understanding what is your responsibility, what you can learn from it, and the things that are not your responsibility. Being able to say it's not your fault, you know. I think, you know, is hard, you know, depending on people's backgrounds. But I think part of self-love for me is understanding your past and allowing yourself to move forward, you know. And I think it's like it's hard to do that, you know, because I think for a lot of black people, and, you know, speaking for myself as well, it's hard to let go of things, for whatever reason. Um, but to have the courage to do so that you can move forward, I feel like is a form of self-love.
Also, like, forgiving that past self that like really wasn't full of that love. You know,
Yeah.
understanding
Yeah.
like why you were how you were, and how you're
Mhm.
such a different person now. You know,
Yeah, definitely.
Forgiveness. That's
Forgiveness.
important. Forgiveness is important. That's a major key in self-love.
So hard, but it's so necessary.
Really
Yeah.
so necessary.
I think.
Um,
Oh, my fault.
no, go ahead, Angela.
Oh, okay. I think an important layer of self-love is like being sure that you're your biggest fan, and with that, kind of also knowing that there's no box that you have to stay in, and that you're like constantly evolving. And so I think with that, like, I personally, like, I'll like say certain words of affirmations, like I am like unique, I am whatever the case may be, depending on how I feel, or like just looking in the mirror and like listing certain things that I'm like proud of accomplishing, and then things that I like want to work on, just things like that. Yeah.
Thank you, Angela.
Yeah, we got a question from my girl Lisa, who asked, like, how do you extend grace to yourself when you mess up on loving yourself? And I want to bring in voices that we haven't heard yet. I don't know if, like, Nelson or Leah, if y'all want to tap in on this question. But I can go first. For me, in terms of like extending grace to myself, it's allowing myself to feel. Derby has seen me cry. Derby, almost everybody in here has seen me cry a number of times. And it's recognizing like, damn, like I fucked up, right? And it's allowing yourself to feel that pain, feel that hurt, right? And then letting that go. Because when you hold on that you're not doing yourself any good when you do that, right? Self-love for me is grace, right? Showing yourself grace, understanding that you're gonna fuck up sometimes, right? We're humans, right? We hurt people, we hurt ourselves, but I think it's showing yourself that grace and that forgiveness, like everyone was talking about, like, and recognizing that I made that mistake, I learned from that, and that's no longer who I am, because I'm actively working on doing better and being better.
Absolutely.
I rethink's the same thing.
Wait, if I can ask a question, I think you kind of broke up for the question that came in. Can you repeat that, please?
The question?
Yeah, the question that came in was, how do you extend grace to yourself when you mess up?
Interesting. How do you extend grace to yourself?
I think for me is like I was known, like growing up, I was always like the king of fucking up, right? Like I used to always go against the grain and do things that I knew that I shouldn't do. And because numerous people have told me that it's not a good idea, right? And I was like, understanding that, they were looking out for me, but at the end of the day, like I just wanted to learn for myself. So for me, grace is just understanding, like, at the end of the day, you're not gonna be perfect. I mean, there's no such thing as perfection. So having grace for yourself is just understanding that you're a human, you're gonna mess up, but it's about not really being down on yourself when you do mess up, but finding the lesson in messing up. Like, what have you learned in this moment? Where's the teaching point? And what can you take away from that going forward, so you can understand that, okay, you messed up. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're human, right? Like at the end of the day, you have to give yourself a lot of credit for the fact that, God's still not done with you, because if you wake up today, like you still matter. So you're gonna learn, because life is a journey, and this journey that we're going on, like it's not gonna be perfect. It's gonna be, full of peaks and valleys. So, but how you gonna bounce back, right? Like how you gonna, what are you gonna learn from that and take it going forward and bounce back to be the best you possible, right? Like you're never gonna stop growing, and the moment you feel like you have stopped growing, you should probably be concerned, right? So you should always, look in the mirror and say, okay, I messed up. All right, you gotta be honest with yourself. That's it. Don't point fingers. Don't look to give excuses. Just look in the mirror, own it, and move forward. I mean, it's hard to sit in your own funk, because then, that hour gonna turn into a day, and that day gonna turn into a week. So it's like, what good is that gonna do for you? And you just gotta move forward. Like, you gotta have grace with yourself, because it's not the first, and it's not gonna be the last time you fuck up. So just understand that. I really excuse my language. I love you. But it's really like, grace is a tough thing to learn. And I think for me, I've recently started understanding the idea of grace. So, but you gotta own it. The best part about grace is that you gotta own it and move on. Because that's it. It's just simple. I know it's like so simple, but it's like hard to actually do when you're actually in your own mess. So yeah.
And not to go too long, but there's something that I tell Sabine all the time. We go through seasons in our lives, and each season comes with different mess ups, but different lessons as well. So each season that you're going through, you're learning through that season. And not to take anybody to church or anything like that, but grace is a covering. Grace is supposed to wash out all of that wrong, wash out all of those pains, wash out all of those wrongdoings. So that alone is washing out your mess ups, and that alone is covering that up. So then you're just picking that back up and you just keep going. We're young. We're supposed to be messing up. We're supposed to fuck up. We're supposed to do that. These are lessons that we're supposed to be learning. These are seasons of our lives that we're supposed to be going through.
Yeah.
It's a blessing when we mess up, because the lessons and how much we grow as humans, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Your mess ups are blessings.
Yeah, the process doesn't need to be graceful, but as long as you're graceful with yourself, you know, that's
Bar. I like that one.
I think one thing I want to add to, especially what everyone's saying, is that I think that oftentimes when it comes to when we make mistakes, you know, and we're beating ourselves up for it, sometimes I wonder if the message underlying in that is, if I do everything right, then I'll be valued and then I'll be loved, you know. And I think part of forgiving yourself is reminding yourself that you have value and that you are lovable. And I think once you get to that place, I wonder if it does change how you look at the mistakes you make, you know, saying that regardless of whether I do great or whether if I screw up, I still have value at the end of the day. So
that part. Ooh, wow. It's 9:20. I think I'm gonna just leave it there. I'm gonna just close us off there. Wow. Yes, you are valuable, irregardless of your mess ups. Like, your mess ups make you who you are. You are worthy of your love, of your care, of your kindness, of your generosity, of your vulnerability. You are worthy. Damn, I had something I was gonna say, but Ed, thank you for summing this all up. Thank you.
Do you mind if I just say something really quickly since we are ending?
Yeah, go ahead, Leah.
I don't want to, like, you know, make this church and we go to like noon as opposed to ending earlier. I'm sorry. I haven't really been speaking in this session, but I have been crying. If anyone has been looking at me, I just wanted to say, like, I'm sorry I couldn't bring anything to this discussion, but I gained a lot, is what I want to say. I don't want to get into anything. It is really personal, but I'm going through quite a lot right now in my personal life. I'm figuring myself out, and I'm making a lot of mistakes, and it's coupled with like this isolation from all of my friends and my support system. It's hard, and you know, like, hearing the things that you guys are saying, how your mess ups do not define, well, your mess ups do define you, but that's okay. Or like, I might have botched that one, but how you need to learn how to forgive yourself. That is something I struggle with almost on principle. I can forgive literally everybody, but I can't forgive myself. And it's really, really hard for me to sit down and be like, you're okay, you're enough, because back to the generational curses, women in my family haven't been given the loudest voices, let's say. You know, Caribbean people, I love us to death, but we are very traditional. So, you know, the change can only start with me. You know, the change that I want to see in myself and the change that I want to see in the world around me can only start with me. And it is a hard process to let go of what has happened to me and what is happening, like to really process it all. I'm going to say it now before Mary puts me on blast in the chat. I have been avoiding therapy for they're stupid reasons, but they are still strong reasons. And I really do think that therapy is something I should be looking into. And I want to thank you guys on the panel for what you said tonight. It's just like, it's nice to hear that people have gone through what I have gone through, and I feel not as alone, because for a long time I have felt not seen. that's when I really started crying, because we were talking about being seen. And I yeah, this was huge for me. Thank you, Sabine, for letting me be in this, and much love to all of you. I don't know, I know some of y'all don't even know me, but
Well, we love you.
But we're hugging you and we love you.
I'm crying still, and I'm
Period,
trying to pretend I'm not.
Yo, just send me your Addy. I'll send some love.
That.
Community, yes.
Here we go.
Trying to pretend like I'm not crying, because I am a bad bitch. You can't kill me. You gotta I have to remember that, you know. But it is a process. It is a struggle, and I want to thank you guys for reminding me that it's okay to mess up and it's okay to worry, but I need to remember that I have to forgive myself, and that ultimately I am enough, regardless of what anybody else might say. So
That's on facts.
So much.
okay, let me let us
the background. Somebody got onions over there.
Oh no, only,
The
there's only one
onions
person crying at a time, please. I can't do that.
and the allergies.
I just want to add to what she was saying.
Sabine, we got McDonald's for you downstairs.
I just want to add this one last thought that I had when it comes to grace, right? And for anybody out there that's religious, I'm not super religious, but I am in the process of working on that aspect of my life. So the one thing that I learned personally that helped me with grace, with having grace with myself, is I shouldn't be so hard to forgive myself, because regardless of every sin that I've done or that I've committed, God has already forgiven me.
Mm-hmm. That's
So,
it.
for anybody who doesn't see that
I'm hella religious.
yeah, she is. Yeah, she very bad.
I had a baby out of wedlock. If y'all know what that is, that's having a baby out of marriage. I was the fuck up of my family. Okay. My mother was so ashamed of me, she wouldn't even tell my family I was pregnant.
Girl, this sounds like a Tyler Perry movie.
It broke me. But when I tell you that you have to, that forgiveness is something that you have to give yourself, because I have the biggest blessing out of that mistake. And that's what I mean. Your blessings do come out of those mess ups.
You're gonna learn something. You're gonna find something.
Yeah, she's a different, but there's blessings that come out of those situations.
And she's a cutie. Stop playing with me.
I just forget. It's also simple and laid out before me. It's simple to hear and it's simple to say, but I forget it, and it's always so hard to get to find the good in me when I think there is none left. But
always beauty.
I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop.
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah.
Woo!
Keep pushing on. Keep pushing on.
Keep pushing, and
I'm rooting for you.
damn, y'all really. I hope the folks who are in the chat are just the attendees. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are worthy of our, like I said before, of our love, of our care, of seeing ourselves, of our grace, of our vulnerability, of our kindness, of our gentleness. We are worthy of all of that, right? And that voice in your head that's telling you that you are not is not a fact, right? These
She's so annoying. She won't ever shut up. I'm sorry. No. Yes, you're correct.
Leah, if there's anyone that feels, I feel you. Derby hears from me often. Ashley has heard from me very often. Even right now, like there are still moments in which I doubt myself, in which that voice tries to like come at me. Even with this whole webinar series, like she tried popping up, like being like, "You ain't shit. Who do you think you are?" But like trying, like she came up, right? And so for me, I'm just like I'm worthy of being like, "Bitch, shut up, like go away."
I mean, my voice was the reason I didn't say nothing during this entire talk. Like part of it was my internet connection, but like a big part of it was my voice going, these people are a little more qualified than you to be talking about anything. And I was like, ooh, well, when you put it like that,
and that's that lie, right?
It's a lie.
Yeah.
But I spoke. So
look at that.
Here I am,
Somebody needed to hear what you just said right there.
Yeah.
I hope so. I needed to say it, so I hope
Somebody needed to hear that. Somebody out there needed to hear you be able to express that, so that way they can feel comfortable and get the validation that they can express it themselves and gain that confidence to express themselves. So you just help somebody just by helping yourself.
Yeah.
And that's love.
Yeah. Our words, like Vanessa just wrote, our words have power, y'all. Power of the tongue. Speaking affirmations, like manifesting what we want to, how we want to be within ourselves, how we want to love ourselves, like manifest that, write that down, like envision that, and actively take the steps towards that. So we're about to hit 9:30. I want to say thank you again. I love y'all so much. Again, this won't be the last time. And before we close out, I'm going to play a beautiful video of Nina Simone just letting us know.
Before you close out, please, tomorrow's going to be the last day of this event. You always forget, but I got you. It's the last day of this event, so please spread the word. And please, if you can, donate some stuff. The proceeds are going to go to all the artists that you've seen this week. And tomorrow's going to be our last day, so please spread the word. And also use the hashtag #MyBlacknessIs and show us what your blackness is, because it is everything and more. So
thank you, Sandra.
Really quick, I can't make tomorrow's meeting, so I just want to say really quick, thank you, Sabine. Thank you so much for this idea, for this space, for allowing me to be in it, and thank you to everyone I've met here tonight. This was, I cannot really articulate right now how much this meant to me, but it meant a lot, like a lot, like whew, like 300 Virgils, a lot. You know what I mean? But yes, so I hope everyone just is staying safe, staying woke, staying powerful, staying Black, and I still do weddings and I also do funerals. So whatever you need, hit your girl up.
Yes. Thank you.
I did today. I gotta plug it. I won't cry like I did tonight, but I will show up for you. I will bless you. So yes, it is shameless. I have no shame. A girl is broke.
Leah, we gotta let these people go. I gotta play this video, girl. All right.
Let's go.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone. And here is Nina Simone.
I think what you're trying to ask is why am I so insistent upon giving out to them that blackness, that Black power, that Black pushing them to identify with Black culture. I think that's what you're asking. I have no choice over it. In the first place, to me, we are the most beautiful creatures in the whole world, Black people. I mean that in every sense, outside and inside. And to me, we have a culture that is surpassed by no other civilization, but we don't know anything about it. So again, I think I've said this before in this same interview. I think at some time before, my job is to somehow make them curious enough or persuade them by hook or crook to get more aware of themselves and where they came from and what they are into and what is already there, and just to bring it out. This is what compels me to compel them, and I will do it by whatever means necessary. And everything is alright. I wish that you know the truth. I live it free, so please don't get it twisted. Problems are same, gotta be dealt with.